project?
The branding project, that actually happened just as I was leaving. I left the project partly because I was tired of being gone every weekend and evenings doing planning retreats for community foundations. But the community foundations wanted to have some sense of common identity. No one knew what a community foundation was. I always had to start with, what is a community foundation? How do they function? Because no one had ever heard of them. And they had intentionally, I think, been somewhat low-key. They're more like bankers than flashy folks, old-fashioned bankers. And they went to Bob Tobin and the Williams Group here and talked to Bob about how do we capture the essence of what is a community foundation. And they went round and round and round. This was a case where I was a part of this conversation. We initially went to the Council on Foundations. And the typical pattern was that we would see a need, we would go to the Council on Foundations and say, here's a need in the field that we're seeing in Michigan. They would say, we're not interested, not ours to do. We would come back and say, okay, nobody else is going to do this. You know, if we want it done, we're going to have to do it ourselves. And then after it's done in Michigan, then it goes back and becomes a national project. So the branding project certainly was one of those. We went and we said, the field needs to have a common branding. They said, we don't think we could. In fact, they might have failed at a couple of early efforts at it. And then the Michigan folks came back and they got together in a group and they worked with Bob and they worked on projects. And eventually they came up with the phrase, for good forever, which is it really captures the essence of the community foundation. And it required the community foundations some of them to change their names because they were just the Kalamazoo Foundation and so they had to, or the Fremont Foundation, and they had to change their names to the Kalamazoo Community Foundation, the Fremont Community Foundation.